on this part, what I will be doing is I'll open this hole up to 1/4 inch, and then I will countersink it so that the screw head will actually sit below the surface of the mold. Then, using a screw, 1/4 20 brass flathead screw, check to see if the head fits in the hole, and that'll do it. And I'll put this back together, screw this one in, and there you see the head of the screw is just below the surface of the fixture. I'll line the boards back up, and then I'll drill this hole here. You gotta take this other screw out. Now this hole will have to be drilled out for the insert. And that is a second insert. Check to make sure it's flush. That one didn't quite go all the way down. It just barely had some up above it. Just knock it down with a file. And put your plate back together. The countersink does a couple things for you. One, it keeps it out of the way whenever you're sanding flat the sides. And two, it holds everything together while you're making it. Now that that's laid out, you can go ahead and drill the remaining holes. Here I have completed drilling all the required holes in the plate. I tap the jacking hole to 1/4 20. On the reverse side of the lower plate, I inserted 1/4 20 inserts adjacent to the mounting screws. I laid out the area for the clamping garland around the perimeter. Clamping garland is made out of the waste material from the fixture. Cut out the fixture on the outline, and then sand to shape using the drum oscillating sander. One of the things you want to ensure is that you cut to the outside of the marked line. You can leave a little bit of material there because later on we'll be taking it off with the sander, and then we'll be sanding the line completely away. That's how you know that you're going to have your fixture at the exact dimension. And you always check your dimensions when you're finished. Now what I'll be doing is cutting out the corner block areas, just like on this one that I have already previously cut. And then I'll cut the end blocks. Now that we have the fixture cut out, all roughed out, everything straight. Right. Next step, we'll have to put in the jacking holes in the top plate. The jacking holes are used to separate the top plate from the bottom plate. When I'm finished tapping, what I'll do is I'll take this thin CA and just run it down inside the threads. With this machine I'll be using is an oscillating fence sander. And it works out very well. One of the things you have to do is make sure that your table is square to your fence before you do any fine sanding with it. As the outside edges sanded down with the line removed. Later, when I check the dimensions against the plan, if I have to, I can build it up with a piece of parchment. Just glue on. Or if I have to take off more, I can go ahead and sand it some more. The next step is to make the cutouts for the clamps. Here I have completed cutting the outline of the fixture and have sanded it down until the line is gone. I've checked the dimensions across the lower bout, center bout, and upper bout, and they are correct, so I do not need to make any further corrections. The scrap wood I used to go ahead and shape into a clamping garland blank. Later on I will drill these and put 1/4-20 bolts in with wing nuts to use as a clamping garland. I'll put cork in between the two pieces on each side to protect the instrument surfaces while I'm clamping it together with the clamping garland. I'll next cut out the clamping block areas. These areas are cut out so that you can add clamps and hold the block materials in place while you're constructing the instrument. The areas for the clamping box have been cut out. The mounting holes have been countersunk so that the screw head will actually sit below the surface of the top section of the fixture. The jacking holes are threaded to 1/4-20 and then sealed with CA glue to make the threads a little bit harder. Here are the inserts of 1/4-20 for the holding screws. Make sure that they sit below the surface of the lower plate. These screws were put in as jacking points for the jacking screws.